In the first problem in your study guide, you're asked to write the polynomial in standard form. So I start by finding the highest exponent, which is right here, 3x to the fourth. I'm going to write that one first. There are no like terms with that, so I'm going to cross that off. Now I'm going to look for anything to the third power. I have several. 6x cubed minus 5x cubed is positive 1x cubed. So I put plus x to the third, and then I go to the squareds. I have minus 2x squared plus 6x squared is positive 4x squared. Here it is in standard form. The degree is 4 because it's our highest exponent after it's been simplified, and our leading coefficient is now 3. In number 2, you're told to simplify. So what I'm going to do is I look at the symbol in between. It's addition. Addition means I can just erase the grouping symbols, and I'm just going to be combining my like terms. So I'm recopying this without any grouping symbols, and then I'm going to find my highest exponent, which is to the third power right here. I'm going to write that one first, negative 5x cubed, and I'm crossing it off. Oops, actually I missed something. Let me back up here. I missed that there's another 5x, or another x cubed term. There's a positive 2x cubed, so I first need to combine those. That would be negative 3x to the third. Now I cross them off. Now the squared terms right here, plus 6x to the second. Plain old x's, I have a negative 2x minus 5x is minus 7x. Cross them off, and finally I have a minus 2. This is simplified. There's no more like terms and no parentheses. Remember, when you add and subtract, your exponents don't change. You're just combining like terms. In number 3, when you simplify, you can't just erase the parentheses. I'm going to recopy the first binomial, but in the second one, because it's minus, if you think of this as having a coefficient of negative 1, you need to distribute your negative 1 to this trinomial. So negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. Negative 1 times 4x squared is minus 4x squared. Negative 1 times positive 6x is minus 6x. Now I look for like terms. 2x squared minus 4x squared is negative 2x squared. Cross those off. Now I have minus 6x. And 2 plus 6 would be plus 8. It is simplified because there's no like terms or parentheses remaining. In number 4, you are told to simplify. So this time it's held by multiplication. This is 2x times a binomial. So I'm going to distribute. Now, when you multiply, please remember your coefficients do change. Use your exponent rules. So 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And x to the first times x to the second is x to the third. 2x times 7 would be positive. 2 times 7 is 14, and you keep your x. I have no like terms or parentheses, so I'm finished. In number 5, again, you're told to simplify. So I'm going to start by doing negative 12 times 2x is negative 24x. Now, I have a negative 5 that needs to be distributed to this binomial. So negative 5 times 9 is negative 45. And then negative 5 times 7x is negative 35x. I need to combine my like terms. Negative 24x minus 35x is negative 59x. And then minus 45. At this step, I'm adding, so make sure you are not changing your exponents. It's simplified because there's no like terms or parentheses. In number 6, there's a monomial times a trinomial, so this time you need to distribute 3 times. Again, when you're multiplying, your exponents do change. So this would be 1x squared times a trinomial will give me negative 9x to the fourth power plus 5x to the third power plus 7x to the second power. No like terms or parentheses, so we're finished. In this example, you either need to double distribute or set up the box method. You decide what you like best. I'm setting up the box to show you how you would do your setup, but if you prefer just to distribute, you take 6x times negative 4x is negative 24x squared. And if you're doing the box method, it goes here. Negative 4x times 1 6x times negative 1. And negative 1 times positive 1 is negative 1. Now, notice on the diagonal, I have my like terms, gives me negative 24x to the second minus 10x minus 1. In number 8, this is a binomial to the second power. It's important to recognize that this means you have 2 of them, so you need to double distribute. Okay, I'm not going to do this one by the box method. I'm just going to take negative 2x here times everything in the second, which gives me positive 4x to the second plus 2x. Now I'm going to distribute the minus 1 to both things. Negative 1 times negative 2x is positive 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Combine my middle terms, and this gives me 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 for my simplified answer. In number 9, this is kind of an extension of what you've already learned, where you have a binomial times a trinomial. I'm going to set this one up by the box method. Which means I just have a bigger box. I'm going to end up making 6 multiplications. I'm going to put my binomial over here. I'm going to go across the top row. Negative x times 3x squared is negative 3x to the third. Negative x times 3x is negative 3x to the second. And negative x times negative 5 is positive 5x. If it makes more sense, you can squeeze in a coefficient of negative 1 in front of that x. Now I'm going to multiply through by 6. Gives me 18x squared. Notice the variables don't change here. 6 times 3x, because I'm not multiplying by another variable, would be 18x. And 6 times 5 is negative 30. Now, if you set this up right on your diagonals, you'll have like terms. This gives me negative 3x to the third. 18x squared minus 3x squared would be plus 15x squared. When I'm adding, variables don't change. Plus 23x minus 30. I have no like terms or parentheses, so I'm finished.